Coming to you live from the Picket Studios in Houston, Texas, this is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
Welcome to the Realty Ruckus out of the Picket Realty Studios. I am your host, Alan Hernandez. Sitting next to me, your producers, David Bonilla, Gibran Hernandez. We are here to make sure that your real estate business is growing right alongside with ours, and we love to hear from you live while we are on the air. So drop all your questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to talk about live while we're on the air. Drop it down below so we can hear from you. And by the way, as always, we have a phenomenal show together. Are you laughing about what? No, are you laughing about me saying chalk about?
Look. So that the audience understands, there's other people other than us three in the studio.
Yes.
And sometimes they do things to try to signal me.
Do things and wave things around
yeah,
to just throw me off and say weird things while I'm trying to talk.
They were trying to signal something to me right now, and they pointed up, so I stared up at the ceiling, and they started laughing. So
I saw you kind of do this thing. I was hoping there was something entertaining up there.
I was looking for the cobwebs up there.
Anyway, we have a great show planned out for you guys today. But I got to tell you, man, my back hurts, man. Like, it's like really, really bad. Like, have you ever had like that really, really bad back pain that like you can't even get up from bed from?
Yeah, dude, when I was bending over tying my shoelaces and I coughed and I threw out my back.
What? Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
Wait. You were bending over tying your shoelace and you coughed and you threw out your back.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really old man problem.
I was like, wow, this is it.
How old are you, man? Dang.
I turned 30. And here it is.
That sounds horrible.
I'm often left speechless.
Yeah,
that
really.
Left me speechless.
Wait, you just coughed and threw out your back.
Yeah.
All right, my story doesn't even come close to this. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Alan was doing actual manual labor.
I was doing hard manual labor this weekend, man. I was going to tell you guys. I don't. I got a chance this weekend to contribute in our community service where we went out and we redid the landscaping of some of the people that were hit by Harvey a year later. It was in one way it was like a celebration. In another way it was just a way for us to give back to the community.
Yeah.
And what I realized when I was doing this is, one, I really am Mexican. Because I'm really good at landscaping, you guys.
Oh, now you're good at landscaping?
I'm really extremely good at landscaping.
So, this leads me to bring up the story of the time that we got confused as landscapers.
Yes.
Anyone who's been watching the show for a while will remember this story because it's not the first time we've told it. But when Alan did his first flip, I was in town from college and he asked for some help and I went and helped him. And we did a lot of things beyond the landscaping, but the main one that we worked on for about a half a day was the landscaping.
Yeah.
And
well, that's when we thought we were good at landscaping.
Oh, yeah, and we were so tired already that Alan goes, just throw the mulch on top of the dirt. It'll just cover it up.
Spread it everywhere.
Yeah, we spread mulch everywhere. But this lady pulls up, and she rolls her window down, and she's like, hey! And so I walk up to the window, and Alan's over there spreading mulch around. And
just like throwing it everywhere.
Like, hey, are you guys interested in coming over to my place and doing some landscaping? I live right down the street.
By the way, it was the worst landscaping job you've ever seen.
Really
it was
bad.
not good landscaping at all. And we were already getting people driving by and asking us if we were landscapers.
But Alan got so upset that day. He looks at her and he goes, what? Do I look like a landscaper to you?
What, are all Mexicans landscapers?
And I looked at us and we had on gloves and we were full of dirt and we were holding shovels and
carrying bags of mulch.
I was holding a rake and carrying a bag of mulch, and in my head I thought, well, I think yes, we do look like landscapers.
Man, it felt like that this weekend. I haven't done so. For those of you guys that follow the show, I moved into a house recently that has a whole lot of landscaping to do. It's really overwhelming, like the amount of landscaping that you
have to hire somebody for that.
No, I know, and I've been like trying to like chop away at it like every weekend, just doing a little bit because it does get your mind off of things, right? Like if you're out there, just kind of, you know.
We are all getting old. We're talking about enjoying landscaping. And
oh my goodness, I know. How bad is that? When would you have thought that I was going to say that I enjoy landscaping? That is just nuts. I just heard myself say that.
I can't believe that I heard you say that actually.
Okay, so for the last few weeks, I go into the backyard because it's a lot of landscaping. You guys, you'll see eventually, I'm sure. there's trees, there's fruit trees, there's all sorts of craziness back there. But you got to like keep it clean, otherwise.
Leo
it's
said if you
overgrown.
like landscaping so much, you got to come over and do his. This weekend.
Oh no. The point of it is if you do your own and it's you know somewhat just like chill and you're relaxing while you're doing it, it's not that bad. But this weekend we were there to like really completely change the landscaping plan of a house. And man, by the time it was done, it was really amazing, the transformation that happened. But I have not been able to walk literally for the last 2 days because my back has been killing me just from like shoveling dirt for 5 hours straight. So I can't even imagine what it's like
when you don't do that often.
Yeah, so, like what is it like for like the guys that like do that every day? They're like
after
just
like
used to
a
it.
week, they're used to it.
Yeah.
And that's why they have that working blue collar strength, you know? They always walk around and you're like, dang, those guys are strong. It's because they do landscaping all day.
Vanessa says I have old man strength. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know about that.
I think David has old man syndrome.
I don't know about old man strength. This guy's over here throwing out his back from coughing.
Like, oh, I shouldn't have coughed so hard.
I literally had to stay in bed for like a day. I couldn't get up and walk. I was like, what the hell is going on? This is what my mom's been talking about all these years.
You better watch out.
Right?
One day you're going to sneeze and you're
shark.
black out. Shark.
Well, let's not discuss that.
Anyway, yeah.
One day.
And we want to talk about that.
Yesterday.
Anyway, guys, we have such a great show planned out for you guys today. We're going to be talking about technology, which affects all of us, and how even though people think it's a great thing to have, and if you are a gadget lover like I am, sometimes it backfires on you. Sometimes technology really kicks you in the butt. And so we're going to have a little discussion about that. What else are we talking about today? What else do we have planned out as an amazing show?
Well, it's a lot of technology, actually, but one of them has to deal with the new iBuyer programs. And we want to look at what effect are iBuyers going to have on the actual industry? So how are they affecting the industry as a whole? And then what happens to you as an agent when your brokerage starts to become the iBuyer? And we're going to bring up a very specific example of a brokerage that has been hiding this information from their agents for the last 2 years while they developed this program, and has now just publicly launched that they are going to be doing iBuying as part of their new business strategy.
This is
so that
really,
should be pretty
really interesting. I really want to get into this because everyone's been talking about how they don't want to become that. Now one of the biggest players in the industry is becoming the iBuyer. Yep. And by the way, we had one of our listings this week for the first time get approached by an iBuyer. While being listed, approached, got a letter sent to them. So now we're trying to figure out, well, how's that going to work? What happens when you have a listing up and there is a letter that says, hey, why listed? You can just sell it to me. So what's that going to do for the agents? What's that going to do for the investors? What does it all mean? I don't understand. We're going to tell you when we get right back. Stay tuned. You're on the Realty Ruckus.
Don't cough.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey guys, Alan here. Are you a home investor in need of house plans and permit expediting services? If so, Houston Plans and Permits is your local one-stop shop. They have over 15 years of professional design experience and have a strong team of knowledgeable permitting expediters to service all of your projects. Please contact them by calling them at 281-372-1555. Again, 281-372-1555. Or visit them at their website, plansandpermits.com. Again, that's www.plansandpermits.com.
Hey, Houston real estate agents. This is Alan Hernandez, broker at White Picket Realty. I want to let you know that when you're ready to stop working your real estate career and start building a real estate business, Team WPR is a place to be. Not only do we offer real results, real support, and real branding, but furthermore, 80 to 100% commissions of your hard-earned money going back to you. So make sure you reach out to us. Join at teamwpr.com. Again, that's join, Join, at teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, before we went to break, we were making fun of David for hurting his back by
Man,
coughing.
you guys are giving me a hard
we were
time.
really giving him a hard time on that one. It's just, we
just
find
means
that
I'm gonna be
unbelievable,
waiting.
okay?
I'm just going to be waiting.
Next time you bend over.
You guys better watch out.
But I do want to talk about these iBuyer programs. And for those of you who are listening that are trying to figure out what the heck an iBuyer program is, essentially, it is just like the We Buy Houses people. And I'm not talking about specifically home investors. I'm talking about all real estate investors. But the difference between that and the iBuyers is that the iBuyers have agreed to cut their margins down significantly. So while home investors is looking for a 30% gross margin, and almost all home investors are looking for that.
Sure. Because that's the way the lending world works on the investment side.
Absolutely. And if you're doing hard money lending, your interest could be anywhere between 8, 12, 15. I saw as high as 18% before. Mm-hmm. So you may be somewhere in that percentage range. And these iBuyer programs, they're getting a lot of institutional money that's willing to take 5, 6, 7% total return.
Yeah.
So they're making a lot of money, because if they get a 15 or a 20% equity spread, they can still pay the 5, 6, 7% and make money, because they're doing it at large scale.
Yeah.
So even though I'm only making $4,000 or $5,000 per house, I'm doing 100 of them this month,
right,
as opposed to doing one house and making 20 or 30,000. So the numbers make sense at those large scales. Now, the biggest problem that people thought these iBuyers were going to run into is the management of construction. Mm-hmm. And companies like Open Door have done a really, really great job of keeping their rehab budgets really small.
Yeah.
So they're not taking on your traditional homes that need $100,000, $120,000, or even $60,000. They're taking on your paint and carpet specials, where somebody, I'll throw numbers out there, their house is worth $250,000. They want to walk away with at least $200,000. For most investors, let's say it needs $20,000. For most investors, those numbers don't work.
Well, let's run the numbers. It's worth $250,000.
Yeah.
They're gonna multiply that times 70%.
And then it needs another $20,000.
It needs another $20,000 in work. So their maximum allowable offer, based on the traditional formula, would be about $155,000.
So $155,000 is what a traditional investor would be willing to pay. Let's say that you get an aggressive one who pays $20,000 more than that, which is aggressive.
Yeah.
Now you're at $175,000.
Yeah.
But these iBuyer programs are able to walk in and go, look, we'll give you the $200,000. We're going to put $20,000 into it. We're going to relist it for $250,000. And we're going to cut down our cuts, because we don't have to pay a listing agent. We're going to flat fee our listing agent. We're only going to pay the buyer's agent. On the front end, we're not going to pay any commissions to purchase it. We don't have to worry about assignment fees or anything like that, because it's all our in-house projects.
Institutional money.
Yeah, and it's all institutional money, so it's not that expensive. It's costing us maybe 5 or 6%, or it's our own money.
Yeah.
And whatever profits we make. And what we don't, well, that's okay. We're losing other people's money, not our own, but we're doing it on such large scale that the projects will be okay.
Right.
So a lot of these iBuyer programs are becoming very, very, very popular because of the offers they submit. And this week, we actually received the first offer letter from an iBuyer program here in Houston. Now, should I reveal which iBuyer program that was?
Absolutely.
Open Door. It was Open Door.
Yeah.
They've been really big in the Dallas market, and they came in and they presented an iBuyer, not an offer yet, but they did send a letter, and it said, hey, don't use a real estate agent. Go ahead and catch us, and we'll give you an offer. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I will give it to them, and I think this has something to do with them getting a ton of complaints. They are the most complained against real estate brokerage in Texas, by the way.
I was going to say, isn't that, if they're a brokerage?
Yes, yeah. They're the most highly reported real estate brokerage in Texas for complaints. So they get a lot of complaints. And one of the complaints is from other real estate agents who say, you're out there violating my listing agreement.
Correct.
So what they did with us is they actually said, look, you have a listing, you're listed on the MLS, we can't work with you directly, send your agent to us and we'll negotiate the commission and the price for your agent. So they're getting better about working with agents, but the real question is, those programs inevitably are going to exist. There's always going to be institutional people that are willing to put less returns but do more volume. That's always existed. And there will always be the people that are willing to take less for their property than full market value. Now, granted, that's going to be a small percentage of the overall population. But the question starts to become, the people that do want full market value, that do want the full brokerage service, what happens when their own brokerages become the iBuyers? What happens to the agent in that scenario? And how do you continue to utilize your agents? And for those of you who are wondering what the heck I'm talking about, Keller Williams.
Everyone out there is like, what is this guy saying?
Yeah, Keller Williams, who is a traditional brokerage model, has now launched their own iBuyer program.
All right, so I love this because Keller Williams has always made a stand on being a very traditional model where agents come in, they teach them, they guide them on being all about the agents, and all of a sudden this shift, in my opinion, kind of changes that a little bit. The shift is now saying, hey, we realize there's a market change or a market shift, and now we're going to have to stay in tune with it and ride this wave out. And we see that what I see happening is that Keller Williams is now saying we see value in being an iBuyer and we see an opportunity, and we might as well jump on this now before it's too late, because now Open Doors got a leg up on us, as well as some of these other ones that are launching left and right.
And they didn't just launch it. They've actually been quietly testing this in an undisclosed market for over a year now.
Yeah, they're saying that they've been working on this for almost 2 years, that they worked a year to set everything up and another year of running the program under secret because they didn't want to disrupt their agent activities. They didn't want their agents to feel like they're kind of cutting into the market share.
Well, and they are.
Is exactly what they're doing.
That's exactly what they're doing. And that makes it really difficult. Look, the iBuyer thing made it really hard on every investor out there who was out to help sellers out of bad situations. Now, mind you, I get it. Overall, the seller stands to gain a little bit of a better offer with an iBuyer because, yes, the iBuyer is using institutional money. So on the consumer side, the consumer is winning a little more by going through these type of iBuyers because they're possibly going to get a better offer.
And what's amazing to me is that this property, in particular that I'm talking about, the offer came in on, it needs a little work. It is an actual real house that Open Door can do something with. Us as investors, the numbers don't work.
They're not going to work out for us.
By the time we buy it and pay the closing costs and pay the holding fees and then the closing costs of reselling it, we'll lose money, or we may make $2,000 or $3,000.
And it's not worth it for us.
It's too much work to make those tiny margins. So this does work for them, and they're not really our competition. But the offer that they submitted is high.
Yeah, it is.
I was really impressed with the number. I mean, it's like a 90% offer.
Yeah.
And I'm trying
it makes
to figure
you
out
wonder
where they're going
to make some money, and maybe that's just a preliminary offer, and they're still going to go through and negotiate further after inspections or whatnot, and we'll see, and that's something that we would love to keep our audience updated on, because us understanding the iBuyer means that we're understanding where the market's going, and that we're understanding how we can, one, protect ourselves, and two, find opportunities. And I think that's what's going to happen here. One, because they are killing a lot of opportunities for the investors, and if brokerages like Keller Williams also become iBuyers, and they may not see it this way, and they're probably not marketing it this way, but they're killing opportunities for their own agents.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Do you guys think this is the future of real estate?
I think that's where we're going. So there's plenty of future in real estate, but that doesn't mean that because there's iBuyers, we're not going to be able to buy houses or list houses anymore, right?
I do think that if you are a traditional real estate investor, you need to start figuring out better ways to buy houses, because your direct mail marketing is going to start to die, because Open Door is going to send 10 letters for your every one letter.
And let me tell you something. I saw this letter. It is a rock star letter.
I mean, it's
Oh, I bet.
it's a beautiful written letter. It's got everything you can imagine out of a good letter that makes you feel confident and makes you want to trust this company. I mean, you can't write a better one.
Joel says he's actually sold 2 houses to them. Joel, we'd love for you to give us a little bit more idea on what that process looked like and what the percentages were that they paid you. Did you feel like they were fair? Did you feel like they were too low, or did you feel like they were too high? And he also says that
they're going down.
They're going down. There's too much risk for little return.
So I think that's very interesting, because I want to talk a little bit about when we started having hedge funds come in and buy a bunch of the inventory that was sitting around, and they got a good price on those deals, and they picked up hundreds and hundreds of deals, and they were paying 80, 85 cents on the dollar, and we couldn't understand as investors how these companies were going out there and making these offers and closing on them this way. But we were just we just had to sit back and just let them acquire properties. And what happened? They ran into the scenario where they couldn't manage them. Yep. They couldn't figure out how to keep the tenants in there. They couldn't figure out how to take care of the turnover and all of the expenses on maintenance. And before you knew it, they started saying, you know what, maybe this isn't the best route to go. And so I think Joel has a really good point. I think once a company goes in the direction of very, very high risk and little return, there's always an adjustment that has to happen. And think about other scenarios where that's happened. What's happening with these companies who are out there listing properties for $500 and a few months later they're like, hey, we're getting ready to go broke. We need to charge a real deal commission.
Absolutely. And not only that, so it's funny because Joel says they actually paid him top of market. So I'm really curious if he followed that and saw, did they relist it later? Like, if it was already top of market, where do you go from top of market?
What was the point of paying Joel top of market if they were just going to sell it for top of market to someone else?
Exactly. Where's the spread? Where's the profit to be made? Yeah. And it really makes you wonder about companies like, if you remember, we talked about a company called Knock here a couple of weeks ago, and their business model made even less sense than most of these iBuyers. But you have to think, how many of these people are just jumping in the market?
He said they're listed now.
To take the they just listed them.
And those would be really interesting for us to follow and just look at the numbers.
It's something about an 8 to 10% service charge.
Can you explain that service charge, Joel? What do you mean by an 8% to 10% service charge? Does that mean that whatever you had it listed for, they reduced that by 8 to 10%? We'd love to know. Post it on there. We'll read it during the break. I think we got to go to a quick commercial break here soon. How are we looking, David?
A minute and a half.
Okay, we still got a little bit of time.
All right. Point is that these companies are coming in. They are the next disruptor of the industry. They're what we have to deal with for the time being, and that we have to be smart about this and figure out where they're going to set us, where they're going to push us into, and then what out of that corner, where's the opportunity going to come from?
We didn't even get into mention that it's not only Keller Williams, but now Realty, Coldwell Banker. They are also starting an instant cash offer program as well.
Yeah, so, which is crazy. You have these huge mega companies, and they're coming in and saying, "Hey, you know what? We're just going to buy these things cash."
My whole thing is, all of this comes down to hedge funds versus hedge funds, and we've already seen this game play out. And what happens is they each cut each other's margins down so low that they're no longer making money. And the hedge fund managers pull out. They liquidate, they pull out all of their properties, and they say, that's it, we're going to another industry.
Yeah.
But what happens is the consumer in the middle gets super confused in the process, and they do a huge disservice to the industry. They did it to us once with mortgages. They're doing it all over again with these iBuyer programs. I think these are bad for the market.
This is the new trend. This is where everyone is now saying, hey, we can make a bunch of money by just buying houses cash. I've just been watching too much HGTV, in my opinion. Anyway, we have to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll finish off this conversation as well as talk to you guys about why Alexa is kicking someone's butt. You have to know about this. Stay tuned. You're on the Realty Ruckus.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey guys, Alan here. Are you a home investor in need of house plans and permit expediting services? If so, Houston Plans and Permits is your local one-stop shop. They have over 15 years of professional design experience and have a strong team of knowledgeable permitting expediters to service all of your projects. Please contact them by calling them at 281-372-1555. Again, 281-372-1555. Or visit them at their website, plansandpermits.com. Again, that's www.plansandpermits.com.
Hey Houston real estate agents, this is Alan Hernandez, broker at White Picket Realty. I want to let you know that when you're ready to stop working your real estate career and start building a real estate business, Team WPR is a place to be. Not only do we offer real results, real support, and real branding, but furthermore, 80 to 100% commissions of your hard-earned money going back to you. So make sure you reach out to us. Join at teamwpr.com. Again, that's join, Join, at teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, or you can chat with us live during the show. We can answer your questions live on the air. Now, before we went to break, we're talking about these iBuyer programs and how really the only person who gets harmed with these programs is the general public.
Yeah.
Because it destroys the reality for consumers of how things are supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And what happens is when these programs fail or get bought out by another company, because like that company Knock, we all know what their real game plan is here. All of them are old Trulia executives. They don't work for Trulia anymore because Zillow bought Trulia. And they said, you know what? Let's start another company that takes a big chunk of market share and then force somebody else to buy us in order to get their own market share back. That's what their real goal is.
Yeah.
And they're hoping to get purchased by an Open Door, by a Redfin, by somebody else. But their goal is not to actually service consumers. No. Their short-term goal might seem that way, and it sounds great to consumers, but long-term, they're looking to get purchased, and that really hurts consumers. Now, there's a couple of agents out there who did something good for consumers, and their own brokerage kicked them in the teeth for doing so.
Yeah, I thought this was really interesting, and it's hard to really understand it at first. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because it involves using technology, and it's kind of come back and hit these agents in the shorts for it. What actually happened?
So 2 agents, and they are on one of the top 500 teams in the U.S. So we're talking about 2 top producing agents. Yeah. They work for this brokerage, and they had this idea. They said, we want to create an app, and it's called My Agent something. Can you give me the name for that, David?
Home Agent.
My Home Agent. And they wanted to create the app. And the way that the app works is you go in there, you say, hey, Alexa, I want to know this about real estate. And then you can get your questions answered. And one of the things that it did was you say, hey, Alexa, can you connect me with a real estate agent? And agents pay for territory. You pay $100 per month for a zip code, and you get that whole zip code exclusive to you. Everyone who comes through there goes directly to you. And these agents, they thought that they were doing something great for their brokerage. Hey, we took initiative. We created an app, and we're making money on it, but we're going to offer first right of refusal to all of the agents in our own office. We're going to offer first right of refusal to Keller Williams agents specifically because they were with the Keller Williams office, and they thought they were doing something amazing. One day they get an email that says, we need you to come in and sit down and talk to us about this My Home Agent app. And they said, okay, great. We'll send us over an agenda of the meeting so that we can prepare for it, and we're happy to sit down with you. Well, Keller Williams refused to send them an agenda, and the next day they got a letter from their state of California saying, your brokerage relationship with your broker has been terminated. And then the brokerage put out this email saying, if you signed up for that app, you're on your own. That's a big risk. Please know that we have nothing to do with that app. We don't want it to be misconstrued that we have anything to do with that app. And the 50 agents that were signed up from that office all dropped their sign up for that app on that same day.
That's strange.
So it really looks to me like the broker, who was the first one to sign up, by the way, the broker was their first client, was upset that they started to make a little bit of revenue on a side business, a little side hustle that they had going there. And rather than empower the agents and push the app further and maybe even say, how can I invest with you guys? I like the direction this is going in. Decided, I am going to try to kill this at the source, terminate their licenses, and force them to go get licensed somewhere else. These are active agents with active transactions who had to run to other brokerages and say, please take our license. We need to sign up now.
I still don't understand what was the brokerage's reasoning for?
They didn't give a reasoning other than they didn't want people thinking that that app was directly associated with that brokerage. So they felt like those two agents were using the notoriety of that office itself, Keller Williams something, I forget what it's called, that specific office, they were using the notoriety of that office to sell subscriptions to their app. And they didn't like that because the real reason for that meeting, we all know what the real reason for that meeting was. It was to say, we need a piece of this pie. You're using our name, we need a piece of this pie.
Well, I have to agree with that. If you're using someone's name to get further with anything that you're developing, then you probably have to partner in on them.
They were using their name.
Look, I think about it this way. There's always two sides to the story, and then there's the truth, right? So I read stuff like this all the time and think about, yes, it feels like maybe those people were fired, and we may feel bad for them. But look, how many times have we had agents do some really silly stuff online, and we're not nearly the size of Keller Williams. Imagine what they have to deal with silly agents coming in who just flat out don't understand things like not associating one brand with the other, because it creates a potential litigation later down the road in case a consumer sees it as one.
That's very true.
So think about it like this. Let's say an agent of ours was to put our logo along with a Homevestors logo in the same ad or in the same anything. If they post it online and they're starting to get business from that post, that creates an issue. It creates an issue for us. It creates an issue for Homevestors.
Yeah. Well, I think if they had that much of an issue with it, they should have just sent over the agenda to them. To be honest, this is what we're going to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, and Leo says this all comes down to a special broker issue called being a backstabber, and I'm sure that actually has a little bit to do with it. It has to do with the annoyance of these agents. Oh, because also the guy had just stepped down as a team leader, so he was a team leader there at that brokerage, and he had stepped down and he said, I'm getting too busy with my app. I need to go service my app. Yeah. So I'm sure that had a little something to do with it as well.
Man, I got to tell you, I come from a brokerage where my broker was not real happy to see me make a whole lot of money. Yeah. So I can understand.
So that's common.
I can understand that. It's crazy that world really exists out there. I don't know why. I figured the more successful your agents are, the more successful
merrier,
you should be, right?
That type of innovation here, a white picket,
we'd all jump on it, Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the events that we have, because we are out of time for the day, but I know we have some amazing events that everyone should be looking out for, and they can find them on Houston Real Estate Events on Facebook, as well as our page. If you want to go in there and like it, then we're going to like you more.
Awesome. So as far as White Picket goes, we do have our annual Fall Family Festival coming up on November 3rd, which is a great time for all of us to get together as families and get to know each other's families. So be on the lookout for photos for that. In addition, I know at the beginning of November, there's a bunch of Dia de los Muertos events. I've gotten 3 or 4 invites. I don't know about you guys, but let me go through.
Coco made that popular again.
Yes.
Yeah, they did. Specifically, NAREP, Katy, West Houston, they're going to be hosting an event, Dia de los Muertos. That's going to be at 6 p.m. at Agave Rio. And then let's see who else we have here.
There's a lot of them. Nice. I'm just looking at the list. Wow, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, Dia de los Muertos brunch with Metropolitan Escrow and Title. That's going to be another good one. Those are all the ones that I've been invited to. Have you guys got any other invitations?
I've gotten a bunch of invites.
Huge one coming up this Saturday, North Main Street in Hogan, right outside the University of Houston, right over that bridge. Our grand opening of our new central office. Guys, this office rocks. The location is absolutely incredible. We're going to have food. We're going to have beer. We're going to have a bouncy house. We're going to have all of the works. I don't know about an adult bouncy house.
You had me at bouncy house.
Watch out, because you may trigger your back in there again.
I don't want to go too hard in there.
But come out. Support us. We're going to be there from, 11 to 3 this Saturday. we want to see everybody there. If you're a listener of the show, come by. It's our most central location. Anywhere that you're at in Houston, you're 20 minutes away from this one. We're right there in the growing Northside Village, just literally a stone's throw away from the new Hardy Yards complex. We're so excited about this office and our new office manager, Rhonda. Congratulations to her. We can't wait to celebrate this weekend.
And thank you to all of the partners who are sponsoring and allowing us to put this together, especially Lucy Gonzalez, who stepped up immediately and said, hey, I want to contribute to launching this office. So thank you very much. She's with Altera Mortgage, an amazing company. Guys, we're out of time for today. Thank you for joining us out there. Don't forget that we're on every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Keep up your ruckus, and we will see you guys next time.
This has been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.